Glad to know you're still with us on iBrand Daybreak. Now going to the topic of discussion we have for you today. A member of the Independent National Electoral Commission staff was detained by the Department of State Services, the DSS, agents in Rivers State due to allegations of extortion. On Tuesday, Geraldine Ekelemu, Inec's public affairs officer in the state, released a statement in which the arrest was officially announced. The staff member, a security guard, was arrested according to the Electoral Authority for allegedly extorting unwary members of the public. Now, these and many more discussions we have for you today as Dr. Dayo Kayode still joins us right here in the studio to make sense of this. Dr. Dayo Kayode, this is a member of the Inec. That's the body responsible for conducting and ensuring free, fair and credible elections are conducted in the country, having to be apprehended for a crime as this. What do you make of it?
Look at the banking industry.
Okay.
You cannot compare their scale, scale to that of the ministry. You know why? Because it's a sensitive area they are working. All right? They are keeping money, and they don't want them to be stealing, and that's why their scale is like that. So also, Inec is supposed to be a sensitive place to work because the staff there are supposed to contribute their quota towards ensuring credible elections.
Okay.
So to that extent, staff of Inec are also supposed to be having special skill. So you now have to look at it. To what extent are they now being well remunerated so as not to jeopardize what Inec is meant for? Okay? So you need to look at that.
But
so if the staff are being taken good care of and they are now going through some shortcuts, short corners, then
is it about the remuneration of the staff or the system itself? Because yes, this is INEC today, but we've had instances where Nigerians have been extorted over time, from various government parastatals. During the time of the NIN, there were talks of various, NIMC officials extorting, Nigerians.
Money from Nigerians.
I think some 2,000, 5,000. Those were the numbers, the sums of money, going around at the time per person, per individual. You've also had that with, the whole NIN SIM linkage and all of that. So it's not new in terms of the extortions. But when you say remuneration, are you saying that these staff that are called people are not being remunerated, adequately?
You see, I'm so glad when you mentioned that word system, the system. I was building that case up.
Okay.
I was building that response up before getting to
the system.
The holistic circumstances within our nation. All right? Within our nation. Now that you have gone to that level, let me now put it this way. When you look at what is happening in our country, everybody has been left on his own to make ends meet. Now, imagine the real income of workers as per last week. Can you compare it to the real income as per this week? You can't. To the extent that, one, the level of inflation
has increased.
that has happened between Monday and today, right, cannot even be explained. And what has caused it? The system. How has the system caused it now? This is a lack of fuel. Okay? Lack of fuel. Because one, transporters are now buying fuel, according to that news, at black market rate.
300
which
naira.
is 300 naira from 160. From 160, that's close to 100% increase. Now they will now pay, workers will now be paying for higher transportation costs.
Yes.
The tomato seller in the market will transport
The goods.
the goods from the farm down to the market. That say tomato seller will buy food for the children at higher prices, and we can now go on and on and on. So everybody now are now looking for survivor, and when you're now talking of survivor, anything can happen. You can now see the way the system is encouraging bad behavioral pattern. So when you now see that gate man, definitely we enter transport. We want to feed, accommodation, health care for the children. All those things put together, we'll be looking for ways. Okay, look at the service, telecom service providers. Telecom service providers.
Yep.
The data bundle that are supposed to use for 1 month, you now use it for 1 week. For 1 week.
For the same cost.
At the same cost. And even with lesser usage. Lesser usage. So that means you are the one buying before 1,500 naira for 3 gig for 1 month. Now you are now buying 1,500 naira for the same 3 gig
for a week.
Dr. Dayo, do you think that the
Which
INEC
is now times 4, about 6,000.
Now, do you think that the INEC is short-staffed, or they are? Well, I think probably
Short-staffed?
No, short-staffed will even be the word to use, or maybe for lack of better words, or probably the
understaffed.
Understaffed, I mean, or I beg your pardon, understaffed, or the monies they are supposed to use in taking care of the staff are diverted into something else. Do you think they are underfunded? Let's start with that.
You see, it's not about underfunding.
Okay.
But then, do you think they are underfunded?
We have spoken about the fundamentals that is majorly systemic. Majorly systemic. No doubt about it. Part of the fundamentals could be embezzlement. Could be embezzlement.
Or financial misappropriation.
No, don't let us call a spade a spade. Don't let us paint it. Embezzlement is embezzlement.
Well, but we also need to enlighten, the viewers.
No, when you're talking about misappropriation, it could be that they are buying things that they are not supposed to buy.
Exactly.
Or they are not allocating the funds. They are not allocating the funds appropriately. But when you are talking of embezzlement, it is about putting in self pockets.
Well, with misappropriation,
are you with me? Are you with me?
With misappropriation as well, if you allocate, for example, 200 naira to health matters within the budget, and that same 200, because there's a need, you now channel it to probably for infrastructure. That's misappropriation in that sense as well.
That's what I'm telling you. It's not the issue. It's about the snake now swallowing money. It's about the snake swallowing money we are talking about.
But then,
It's different from when you are saying you are buying cutlery for Aso Rock every year. That one is a different ball game.
Okay.
I don't know whether you understand. But what we are saying is this. The head of Inec will have made its budget at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
All right? For the Senate to approve it. When the money is being given, to what extent is this money being used appropriately? To what extent? It's a question. To what extent is this money being used appropriately? 1. 2. Salaries and remunerations of your staff. To what extent is it taking them in ensuring their well-being? In ensuring, excuse me, their well-being, to what extent? When their well-being is not assured, there is band for them to cut corners. When they also see the top echelon in affluence, and that affluence is being rubbed on their faces, they are also banned to also look for ways to also ensure their own well-being. And that is why you see them during the NIN registration, all those guys handling it, extorting people. Because they know by all means you need to. Okay, look at this scenario. Look at this scenario. In Lagos now, some people call themselves task force from Alausa. I witnessed one last week. Directly in front of Oando filling station that is facing this bank, former Prudent Bank.
Okay.
You know, along Ogba Road. This guy was coming. He was negotiating. And look at this damn fool carrying all these policemen. They just blocked the guy for nothing. They blocked the guy for nothing. And they came out with their guns. They were trying to injure that guy. But some of us onlookers have to move. I mean, somebody like me will not be in a place and then be looking at such happening. What is his offense? Tell me. But then again, you have to be careful when you are dealing with policemen that are carrying guns and come and see alcohol oozing out from their mouths.
Yeah. I
said, okay, you guys, give their so-called Oga the key. I collected the key. I gave it to the Oga. And I collected this guy's number. I gave him also my number. Do you know what? These police guys drove away that car without that guy being there. I even thought they were going to area H. Is it area H? That area office, area police command, police command at Ogba.
Area G.
Area G.
Yeah.
And I put the guy inside my own car. I drove him to area G. Kudos to one officer there. They call him Eso, Mr. Eso, you know. They call that guy Eso. What's his name again? Jonathan. I met him. And I reported the case. I said, who among your officers had done this? He said the officer will never do that. They will never enter down. He said, look at the boss. The moment you see this boss, you will know that they are police officers from area G. Before he now started making calls and all that, and now found out that, okay, they have taken that guy's car to Alausa. The guy eventually paid, I think, 25,000. But for what? He says, sir, if I see vehicles there. But because they know that if we definitely need this car, That is extortion. And now you cannot imagine how many people they would have extorted that very day, and thousands of naira to whose pocket?
Now you've just
To whose pocket?
You've just given an illustration of extortion within the police force. We've talked about that of NIN. Now this is Inec, and it has to do with a security guard. There are even talks that some staff are also involved, not just the police man. But hey, let's look at it this way now. All of these things are happening in various sectors, and it's not good for the image of the country. It's not even good for governance, because the mistrust between the people and the government increases as a result of all of these extortions. I'm sure that man you talked about, if he sees a police van, the next thing is probably a panic attack, or am I going to be extorted again? And what have you? But now, how do we address all of these? I mean, we've talked about issues of extortion. Maybe they need to be well remunerated and all. Where's the place of the individual, the police officer, the INEC official, also taking responsibilities for their actions and inaction? So how do we address these issues of extortions across board?
It's still about the system. It is when we have a system in place. Okay, let me give you let me continue from that guy. Who are you to call? There's no place to call. There's no place to lodge your complaint. Look at these telecommunication service providers. Who do you report them to? Who? Nobody. There's no office that you lay your complaint.
How about the
Even when you go to their own office, they will so frustrate you that you will never even want to go there. They will so right from the gates, you will be frustrated. I had wanted to go to their office. Don't let me mention their name. To their office severally, but from the gate you'll be frustrated. So it's the system. There is no system in place to check this. There are a lot of people that are wanting to check, to ensure that they check this. Somebody like me, we want to go all out to check this. Like there was a time there was a serious issue with the CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission.
About 2 years ago or 3.
And I was hearing some news. I went there. Incidentally, the registrar was around from Abuja that time. It came out because I created scene with their security there. But I could do that because those guys were not carrying guns. All right? And then it came out. And then it took us in. He asked for my own. I said, I don't have any issue. But Nigerians are having issue. You are not allowing ease of business as you are talking about.
Okay.
Do you understand? And we all sat down to solve everybody's problem that very day. So what I'm saying is, if there is a system in place whereby people can go to ensure all these things are being reported and then ameliorated. But where is the system? Nothing in place.
Okay. We'll just probably take a break right now. We'll definitely continue the conversation with you afterwards. Thank you so much. We'll go on a short break right now. The show definitely continues after this break.